All right, my name's Andy Grider, and this is Unique This Week, a production of Uniqueness is Power. I'm the host and producer, and I'm really excited today because we've got Terra Traub with us. Terra's a retired World Cup professional snowboard athlete, and that's a lot right there. But she's also a transformation coach, a visionary, an inventor, a catalyst, and really a high-powered inspiration to those who work with her. She's recently launched a new brand and an offering called Limitless. So, Terra, if you could tell us a little bit about this literal blue ocean idea. We love blue ocean ideas here. It's part of the idea behind Unique This Week. Tell us all about this, if you would.
Absolutely, thanks. And thanks for such a glowing introduction. Oof, I felt that. So Limitless is a free dive transformation adventure retreat. So we take skill progression in an action sport like free diving. And in doing that, you get the felt sense of what it feels like to break through your limitations. Because I guarantee you, if you come in thinking you'll do this, you'll actually do this. So you get that sense and that inspiration and that joy and excitement of that high. And then we help you wire that into your daily life. So you've been limitless in your sport, and now how can you be limitless in your self-love, in your business, and networking and abundance? And in the meantime, you're doing this with this highly curated crew of people doing inspiring, wonderful things in the world who are all interested in personal growth and consciousness and transformation. So you're going to be forming a tribe while you're doing a bucket list, adventure, exotic, travel, retreat. Like this is something that you'll definitely be remembering for a long time. So,
Would it be fair to say because you are ingraining this into your new way of being, it's going to become part of your DNA?
oh, yes, yes.
One of the things I thought was the coolest about this was it's not just dispelling limiting beliefs, it's literally getting rid of fear. Because I think a lot of people have an apprehension about, can I do this? Am I capable of this? And I love the title for it, Limitless, but I love what it does as far as how it frees your mind up and how it gets you to see things differently, even more so. Can you walk through what your experience was like and kind of what caused you to want to create Limitless?
Well, Limitless is a culmination of all the things that I love in my life, right? As an action sports athlete, as a snowboarder, I love the high of like progression of doing things that I never thought that I could do, of feeling like Superwoman. And I'm also really good at finding coaches because I've worked with so many world-class coaches who are good at pushing you towards that limit, pulling you back, giving you confidence, helping you understand. So that's that bucket. And then there's the bucket of transformation and growth. I love helping people free themselves from their own limitations, from societal conditioning, and from like, they think that I need to like this, so I'm going to like this, but no, is that what I truly desire? No. So I love rewiring and even being in the space that you mentioned, Andy, of fear. And, something that's actually really interesting about that, it's not about getting rid of fear. It's about accepting that fear into your life so that we're not avoiding it. It's about building that kind of resiliency so we know that we're capable of handling anything. So we're clear and conscious in that moment to make a decision that, empowers us, that goes like we're building a life of conscious choice. And then the third cup, just this just like the travel and adventure and the community and fun. So like this is my baby because I just like all the things that I love out of life in one thing.
Right on. That's awesome. I mean, and the beautiful part about it is you're getting to do this sort of elimination of the safety nets that you might mentally create, in a way that you get to do it. And as you mentioned, an exotic, beautiful location. Talk about where Limitless is going to take place, at least its first iterations.
Sure. In February, we're running it in the Philippines, in this in Coron Island in Palawan. So there's like big, massive, jagged limestone cliffs that go into like Avatar blue water. If you've seen Avatar, the second movie, you'll know like the water's actually like that. You can see the bottom from the top, and no bathing suit. I mean, well, yes, bathing suit, no wetsuit.
There you
Uh,
go. Here's everybody can take a look.
Oh, okay, okay. I was wondering. Yeah, so it literally looks like that. And it's going to be hosted on a houseboat. So we're living actually in paradise. So we're the only people, the only accommodation that's allowed to be on this island, because it's tribal islands, eco luxury resort. So people boat to this island and then they go back home, but we don't need to go back home. We have our private lagoon on the island.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. Now, so what does this look like if somebody's thinking about it and saying, I wonder if I can? So what kind of diving take, I mean, it's free diving, but what kind of depths do you get to? What kind of barriers do you just smash for people?
I love that you asked me that. Thank you. Because my dad and I actually came and free dove together in February. And I'm the kind of person who, when I find something, I'm like, this is my thing. And I've just been free diving since. But when we went together, I thought that I would be able to dive like 4 or 5 meters and, just a little bit because I was like, well, I think I have ear problems. I don't know how to equalize all of these excuses. And in the first course, you actually can get down to 20 meters, and most people do.
20
So I
meters,
got
20 meters
there.
is 60
That's
feet.
yeah, that's like 66 feet. So I'm 29. I got there, and my dad, who is 60, also got there
Wow.
in 2 to 3 days. And so in my retreat, we actually do the first and the second levels, and the second one you can go down to 30 meters.
Wow.
And a lot of people do. They end up surprising themselves. And again, you don't have to. And it's like you show up and you just see how you feel and see how what you can do. But let me just tell you this, when you learn the signs that your body is telling you, the beautiful thing about freediving is you get to understand that what your body is telling you isn't real. You get to get that moment of discernment in your mind where you're like, that's a story. That's it's trying to get me to survive. I respect it, but I'm actually going to go a couple meters down because I know that I can.
Right.
Freediving teaches you this. When you learn your physiology and what your body does, oh, it's so juicy.
It is. It is. And but that's something that as a professional athlete, you already had a little insight into, I think, about pushing yourself beyond a limit or what you thought might have been a limit and realizing, wow, this is where freedom starts.
Yes.
The other thing I love that you talked about was the idea of building a tribe and community and a group of fellow like-minded, impact-oriented, change-making, entrepreneurial, adventure-loving people. So talk a little bit more about what that was like. I mean, actually getting to do that with your dad too.
Yes.
So what was that like?
So when you put people, so even just based on like this limitless like deck and the idea, okay, you have adventure sport, you have transformation, and you have people who are interested in travel. The people who are going to be drawn to this are people, if you're listening, maybe someone like you are have these interests. So immediately you're already kind of connected energetically with these people. You have the same interests, right? And especially people who are willing and excited to go into personal transformation, to release, to become limitless. There's so much deep acceptance and connection and love. So my dad and I are actually running these retreats together.
Awesome.
And so yeah, it's a daddy daughter project, you guys. So we actually go to a lot of conferences together. We actually just came from one called Summit at Sea, where there's a lot of founders and entrepreneurs and people doing massive things, and how they curate their community. Everyone who shows up, you're automatically friends with. So when you come up, you're automatically in this tribe. It creates a lot of safety to do this kind of work. It creates a lot of accountability and lifelong friendships. The roommate that I just made, I know we're going to be tight for a long, long time.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. So, I mean, I know in talking to your dad, Chris, there was an awful lot of, um, he was surprised in a very pleasant and powerful way. That he said I kind of blew my own mind for a whole week straight, and I know what that takes for him. So, I mean, when you get somebody who's in that realm of um, I've done a lot of things. I've got a lot of bucket list items checked. I've taken a lot of risks. I've taken a lot of adventure in. This seems like it almost goes to a literal limitless space where you get into that next level mojo. So what is it that, again? I mean, if we're trying to tell people what limitless will bring them, Terra, what is the best way to describe what you felt coming back out of this? What did it bring you?
I mean, the word limitless really, really does it justice. There was this ultimate like sense of freedom. It's kind of like what I was saying, like when you understand that your mind is just telling you stories, and what you're actually capable is so much more. And then you see proof of it because you do it. Like, that is just like the most freeing experience you can have, and you come out so inspired to bring that into your life. And you're asking yourself, like, where is this happening in my life that I'm not aware of until now? Right? Where is my mind telling me that I can't do this? And having the experience of like catching it in the moment while you're diving, like you're diving and you want to breathe, and like you feel the sensations, you're like, wait a minute, I just learned about this, and I know that I can actually spend like another like 2 minutes in the water, right? When you get that sense in the moment of your mind telling you a lie, you're like, oh my God, like my life has changed, because now it's like you can spot it in your life. And so the work like that we do afterwards enables that. And then the last thing is that when you're in the water, it's just this ultimate free sensation, because you don't have any tanks, you don't have any restrictions. It's just you and your fins and your breath, right? And moving through the water, it's like you're propelling, you're looking at the like light play underneath the water, and you're just like the ultimate mermaid. And it's just, the whole experience is just so fulfilling.
It absolutely indeed. And when you look at the brochure, the smiles on your face and your dad's face are just, they're so telling. They're so priceless. Let's talk. I mean, your dad's a freaking legend, as far as what he's done with his career and what he does as a connector and a facilitator. But let's talk about the other two people that are involved as well, Catalin and Irene, and a little bit about who people are going to be being coached by. If you can give just a little background on the two people that you've managed to hook up with. I know you're really good at finding these coaches.
Absolutely. So head coach, his name is Kat, and he's been teaching for 13 years. He has created, built, and sold two successful freediving schools, and he's now building his third. He's just someone who is very, very solid in the water. So my experience was that he was really good at reading you and telling you like, okay, now like go a little bit further, like when to push, when to pull back, right? And then also really good at explaining and communicating why things are. He's very passionate about being a good instructor, about being a good coach. He wants you to understand, right? So there are instructors who are just like, you do this, you do that, okay, go, right? No, not with him. If you listen to him, you're going to go down to 20 meters.
Nice.
And yeah, so he's this incredible free diver. And Irene, who's actually my best friend, we've been best friends since fourth grade. So
Wow.
long history. She works as a mental performance specialist at Red Bull High Performance. So every day she's working with the top like 1% elite athletes in the world, doing extreme shit like wingsuit and like free solo and snowboarding and surfing, and just she's doing the most. She's talking to the most incredible people and sharpening their sword, the most elite people in the world, and she will be here sharpening yours.
That is fantastic. Now, on behalf of the listeners, because I know somebody out there is asking this question. Oh my God, I've never even thought about snorkeling, much less scuba diving, much less free diving. So how comparatively is scuba diving safer? Is free diving safer? Where does the line draw there?
Sure. Great question. Scuba diving is, in my opinion, is less safe because you're reliant on gear, right?
Right,
Free diving, you're only reliant on yourself. And all you need to do is listen to your body. Equalization is a skill, right? A lot of people come to me and they're like, but I have ear problems, but I have this, I have that. In the 13 years that Kat has been teaching, there's been 3 people who actually had an ear problem. And I actually witnessed this when I was doing my internship with him. I watched a lot of beginner courses. Like 80% of the people said they had ear problems. None of them, and like 80% of the people had stories that they had ear problems. They're like, it's a skill. So If you listen to your body, if you listen to your coach, if you're fully honest with what you're experiencing, I believe freediving is like super, 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 super safe. The things that you sound like the accidents or the things that you see in the news, those are usually when like people who don't know how to freedive and they, for example, over oxygenate and then they lose like right, and then or they aren't like or there's a boat or something. That's not a thing where
Right.
we're going. Right.
Right. Understood. Well, I mean, that's the other thing that's beautiful about this is it is truly a sequestered space. It's a place for you to be able to go and uh, find where you want to go. How far do you want to take this? How far do you want to go? And realize that it can be limitless, which is it's a great name for what you're doing. What does it take to get involved with this? How often do you do these? What's the package look like? What's it include? All those kind of things.
Sure.
Let's dig
So,
in. Let's dig in, Tara.
yes. Okay. So it is a 7 day thing. And our first one is going to be run February 18th to 24th.
Okay.
We're planning on running a couple a year. My goal is to have like one a month for the first 5 months of the year, but we're gonna see how things fill up. So the first one we're definitely gonna fill up is the February one. It's 7 days, and there's 5 days of diving and 1 day of a boat trip, a private boat trip. You're going to be housed on this private eco luxury houseboat, which is super unique. Like I've actually never seen this anywhere else in the world. And we're going to have our private lagoon. All the meals are included. Like basically everything is included. There is an add-on for if you want to do the full like 2 courses, which I highly recommend. And yes, so there will be diving every day, and then there will be workshops like mindset and somatic activations every day. And yes, did I cover everything?
One thing you said earlier, but I think it would be really good to throw it in here is, if I remember correctly, you said this is all you don't. Most people have to return. You do not. At the end of the day, you don't have to return to the town. This is literally you
Yes.
stay right in
Yeah.
the private lagoon.
You can dive from your front door, and we'll probably do a couple sessions where like you walk to the edge and you jump off and it's like 15 meters right there, So there will probably be some sessions where you can dive in the off your front door because we have our entire private lagoon all to ourselves. And then we go and actually dive a lot in Barracuda Lake, which is 80% freshwater. There's one really friendly barracuda in the lake. He's like the mascot. It's called Barracuda Lake.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
this lake is just, it's so beautiful. It's such a big like attraction, but we're not going to be where everyone is because as freedivers, we're allowed to go outside of, where people are staying or like playing. So yes, we stay and live in paradise. We sleep in paradise.
That's phenomenal. That's really, really phenomenal. And I mean, again, there's so much that's included. What is the price for the actual trip?
The actual trip, the whole thing is 5K. For the first 10 people who sign up, we have a discount of 4,500. And then for if you bring on another person, then you get a 10% referral fee. So there's potential to bring that down. But as an all-inclusive thing, I think it's great.
Well, for a week and getting the lessons and the quite frankly, I mean, it's there's so much more you learn. And I know from knowing you, from knowing Chris, and from your comments from your best friend since childhood, there's going to be an awful lot of mental training going on when you're not in the water on top of it all, which is a big, big key. Tara, how does somebody get in touch with you to actually sign up and get themselves moving?
So right now, the best way to get in touch with me is through my Instagram. It's at Terra Traub, TerraTraub. Our website is our landing page is under construction. But if you wanted to reach out to me on Instagram and just say Limitless or just say that you're interested in it, I will send you the deck and we will go from there. I will be sending out an email very soon to start taking those first initial deposits. So if you are excited to be one of the first 10 who has that 4,500, like the $500 discount, then I would do that soon.
Okay. What are the most people that go on any one of these? Is it 10 people per, or is it 20
It's
people per?
18.
I'm sorry.
18 max, 18 max, because we, as a, we have three divers per instructor. I don't want to, so you get that unique attention and you also get more dives. We don't want to go more than that. So we have to limit it at 18.
That makes sense. The other thing I'll offer out to any of the listeners is if you want an introduction to Terra directly or you want to know more about it, go ahead and reach out to me. I'll make an introduction for you. Happy to do that always. And it's such a pleasure, Terra, to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is such an incredible idea. When I heard about you and your dad doing this together, he was so jazzed when he was telling me about it. Then you and I got talking and you told me a little bit about it. And I fell in love with the concept. I thought, wow, what a great thing. And then you guys came back and you said, oh, we built something called Limitless while we were.
Yeah, yes. But that's how things flow, that's how like you feel that sacred, that yes, and you're like, yeah, it's happening. It came together in a week.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, with the two of you, that's not a surprise. So absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. My name is Andy Grider. This is another production of Uniqueness is Power, Unique This Week, where we bring literal, this time, blue ocean ideas right to the surface. Finding people that are doing things that are unique, things that will help you evolve and test your acumen, test your limits, as it were, and help you figure out how to be limitless in this week's episode. Tune in next week. We'll have another great guest for you and learn more about how to be inspired, how to find new ways to do things, new ways to look at things, new perspectives, all of that. That's all about being unique this week. Thank you very much.